Hey everyone, it's John and it's Dry Fire Monday, as always, sponsored by the Mantis X Firearms Performance System. Today I got something to talk about that I see on the range as an instructor all the time, and that is that low left shot. I see this all the time. I see shooters, they get to the line and people call it, Glock anticipation or whatever, and you see that group pushing low and left for a lot of people. And a lot of people, I think, get it wrong as to the cause of that. So if you're a right-handed shooter and you tend to shoot low and left, or at least when you start speeding up, you shoot low and left, or if you're a lefty like me and you tend to push a little bit low and right, I don't think it's because of the reason that many people think it is, and I have a way to showcase that, and so I think because of that, we can fix it. I want to help you, so let's talk about it.
If you want to keep your shooting skills primed, you have to regularly dry fire. Mantis X is the best dry fire tool available to help you to stay sharp all the time. I use it every week.
So like we've said many times, the solution to getting better as a shooter is dry fire. Your dry fire to live fire should be 70 to 80% dry fire and 20 to 30% live fire. You should be doing dry fire every single week, 3 to 4 times a week. Every day would be even better, of course. And I think that we can see whether or not we're using the Mantis X. I'm going to show you with the Mantis X. I'm also going to show you with my red dot sights, or you can also see with iron sights if you don't have a Mantis X, exactly what's going on in your grip and exactly what's going on with your trigger and why you're getting that low left push. So I think once we diagnose it, we can see how to fix it. So first of all, let's talk about what causes that low left. A lot of times what you hear people say is they say, oh, it's trigger slap. You are slapping the trigger. I don't actually think that's usually the cause. One of the reasons that I think that this has been proven is you can see guys like, let's see, I know John McPhee, the Sheriff of Baghdad, does this, where what he's done online, and this video went viral on Facebook not long ago, is he had a guy just grip the dickens out of the gun. He's like, look, I'm going to press the trigger, not you. So he says, look, I just want you to grip the gun as tightly as you possibly can. So the guy's just gripping the heck out of the gun, and then what happens is John came by with like a 3/8 inch socket wrench and put it up against the trigger and then whacked it, bang, and hit it super hard, and the guy was still getting hits. And so there's kind of an aha moment here that what most folks, or at least most beginning shooting coaches and instructors that I see, they say, aha, if you are shooting low left as a righty, low right as a lefty, that what you're doing is you're slapping the trigger, so you're really wailing away on that trigger quickly. I don't think that's actually the case. What I think is actually the case for most people most of the time, and what I want you to kind of think about in your own dry fire and in your live fire if you're doing it, is that what they do is they squeeze the whole hand. So they're actually what they call milking the grip, right? So this is old school. Most people don't live in a rural environment. Most people aren't milking cows, or goats I suppose, much at all anymore. But if you are, you recognize it's a whole hand motion, right? So when somebody's milking a cow, they kind of use this whole hand motion to do that. And so they say, aha, milking the grip means I am squeezing with the whole hand. Now, I think that's actually what it is. And I can show you a little bit of that, both with my red dot and with the Mantis X. So first I want to show you what I just did with the Mantis X just a minute ago, is that I turned my Mantis X on, I recorded my screen, actually used my cell phone to record, so I can't do both at the same time. But what I did was I recorded with my screen, and I did both a open training and with a compressed surprise break. And so I'm going to put it up here, and what you can see is that in the first few shots, so I took 4 shots with the open training, and what I did was purposefully milk my grip. I purposefully squeezed the whole hand, particularly, these 3 fingers while I did this. So I got both hands on the gun and squeezed the whole hand together when I broke the shot. And then for the next 4 shots, what I did was I made sure these 3 fingers were squeezed very tightly on the gun already. The support hand squeezed very tightly around the gun, and then when it went time to go, I moved the trigger finger independently of them, and you can see the results. What actually happened when I go to the analysis is you can see the blue line is what is leading up to the shot, the yellow line is the 200 milliseconds as the shot breaks, and then the red line as it goes afterwards, your follow through. And what you can see on those first 4 shots is that my yellow, as the shot breaks, it's moving in my world from left to right because I am a left-handed shooter. So as I milked the grip, it pushed the shot to the right, tended to go a little bit low as well, usually in live fire because of anticipation. Then when I stopped that, when I really gripped the heck out of the gun, nice and tight. Now, I did a second set where I had the compressed surprise break. Now, a compressed surprise break on the Mantis X, you reset your trigger. When it says shooter ready, you get all the grip you're going to get on the gun. You put finger on the trigger and take the slack out. When you hear the beep, you press through as fast as you can. What I did was, same thing, got a decent grip on the gun, but squeezed with my whole hand when the gun went off. When it was time, when I hear beep, and I squeezed with my whole hand. Then for the next 5 shots, I made sure that I had as much grip as I possibly really could without the gun shaking, got everything that I needed ready, beep, bang, and I did not milk with my whole hand. And you can see the difference as well on the shots. You see that yellow portion is pushing to the right. And again, for me as a left-handed shooter, that's going to push that low and right just a little bit. And then when I did it without that, my scores went up and I did not have that push, and that's going to be the difference.
All right, there we go. We've got the dot. This is a little weird for me because it's not at my eye line, but whatever. So what we see here is you can see the dot. It's fuzzy, but you can see it. So if I have a decent grip on the gun, but I grip with my whole hand, you see it push to the right there, reset, and you can see it again. As I'm sitting here like this, finger on the trigger, and now I do what I normally do, which is there I squeezed with the whole hand. You saw it move to the right. Now, as I reset the gun, let's see it again. Now I'm going to grip the heck out of this pistol. And I gripped it with everything I have. And now I'm going to just press the trigger. Notice it didn't move to the right. Notice that it wasn't there. And again, as a left-handed shooter, that's kind of a big deal. It's kind of weird for me to look at through the glass, through the phone, but there it is. I've gripped the heck out of this pistol. I start pressing the trigger and it stays right where it is. That low right flinch is because of milking.
Okay, so now you know what for most of us the biggest challenge is, which is milking the grip, not slapping the trigger. I'm not saying the trigger's unimportant. I just think for a lot of people, it's about the grip, not about the trigger finger. So how do we fix it? Simple enough. You make sure that when I get, again, if I'm a right-handed shooter, I get that finger high and along the slide. I isolate that trigger finger by getting as firm a grip as I possibly can. Now, of course, we talked about this before in the dry fire challenge, that I am not gripping the pistol all the way around. I'm not trying to crush like this. I'm actually trying to C-clamp. Again, this finger is off. So what I'm trying to do, if you can see it, is press straight down. So here, I am trying to press the front strap into the back strap is what I'm really working on here with my dominant hand. Pressing back as much as I can. My support hand presses left to right. So I'm doing this same thing here, but because of where the fingers are, it's going to go across the side. So it's going to go, in my case, as a left-handed shooter, left to right. If I'm a right-handed shooter, it's going to come from the right to the left. So once I get that gun firmly gripped in my dominant hand, pressing back as much as I can, get this other hand on the gun, pressing side to side, just enough that I can see that and I'm not quite shaking with my sights or my dot, no problem, and I press straight back with my trigger finger. And guess what will happen? The round will go where I want it to, not to the left for a right-handed shooter and tending down. So there you go. That's your task this week, is to think in your dry fire and myelinate that path in your head. Now, of course, we can go from there, draw the gun, all that stuff, and just do it with enough to say, I'm going to grip this gun, drive it out, really see how much grip I have, and I can use my dot, I can use the Mantis X, I can even use my sights to see where my follow-up is, what it's going to look like, how things are going to go. So I want you this week in your dry fire to really think, grip with everything I have, that short of making the gun shake, but really grip before the trigger starts moving. Really grip with my dominant hand. Really get a grip with my support hand. Drive the gun out and isolate the trigger finger. We can do it faster as well. Again, I'm just isolating the trigger finger by making sure that I have all the grip that I can when the gun is in my hand and when I'm driving it out to see my sights, so that I don't have any grip strength left to push that shot low left. So let me know how it goes for you in the comments. If you can see it in your sights using your Mantis X or using your red dot to get better and eliminate that push.